Hello and welcome to my video. Today I am doing vlog number 23. That's my 24th vlog. I am using my webcam for the first time in a while. My hair, I feel like I need to button up a little bit. And it's coming up a little bit from above, so it's giving me a fat chin. Ugh, I hate that. Anyway, so today I am going to prop it back up a little bit. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about my love for Ableton, for creating music. Just like many of my other hobbies, I do this for myself. I don't really have any intention of becoming big or publishing something or doing anything crazy with it. This is just me when I sit down at the end of the day and I want to relax, just like I game, just like I write books. It's really just for me. And I'm saying that mainly because, you know, if somebody comes over here and they see this video and they're like, well, this guy doesn't really know what they're talking about, that's fine. I'm totally fine with being that camp. And I'm mentioning this especially because I feel like this is one area where I'm truly lacking in expertise. I've been trying to get into music production for years, trying to, I guess, make my own songs. And it kind of clicked for me just like a couple years back. So this is like, I think this is Ableton 9, right? So let's see. What year did Ableton Live 9 come out? Alright, let's see. Ableton Live 9. Let's see. When did Ableton Live 9 come out? I want to know when it came out. Is there Wikipedia? Let's see. Ableton Live Wikipedia. 10 was in 2018, yeah, but 9 was 2013. So that's probably like around the time when I started to learn it. And 2017 is about a time when I really started to get into it, and I got a controller, MIDI controller. I got an Akai MPK Mini. It's like an older version. You can, yeah, I'm not gonna turn it around. Here you can get to see it upside down. And here is like a newer version of it. Basically the main changes between this model and the model I have is that I don't have this little button here, this little demodulator, and instead I have these 4 buttons up here. So it's kind of like switched around a little bit. But without further ado, let's look at some music. I try to create music and like some simple beats every so often. You can see that I've been pretty busy with that. Been getting into sampling recently, but I don't really have anything outside of like the stock Ableton experience. I do have loops by Cymatics. This was free. Like if you sign up for a newsletter, they came free and they sound pretty good. I'm actually gonna turn off my, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and output this into my headphones so that I can hear it and you don't hear an echo. Audio output. That should be fine. Let's see. I'm actually not sure if this can be heard on yeah, I don't know if you can actually hear that. Yeah, it like bypasses. It looks like it bypasses OBS. So why is that? No device. Speakers. Oh, okay. So actually, yeah, now you can hear it. Cool. So yeah, so it's just like a few interesting sounds together. Usually, what I do is I put together a drum rack, or use one of the pre-existing ones. Let's do 808. I don't know why it takes so long. There we go. And then I use the pad on my MIDI keyboard to try this out. Unfortunately, I actually can't hear it. Maybe we can do it, make it happen. These are kind of flat, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and put those custom samples together. Damn. All right, so. Crap. No. Yeah, I need to. There we go. So this is my There are my kicks. I usually pick only a couple kicks, so let's see how this works. Let me go ahead and mute my microphone so I can... I'm going to mute my microphone for a little bit, and I'm going to try to put together a quick beat. That's kind of my process. I usually like put that together. I quantize it so it's a little bit easier to deal with, and I try to figure out what beat I'm actually trying to do. So if we move these a little bit, we can rearrange it. They're all like very high velocity for some reason. I gotta figure out what's going on with my pad that it's trying to make it super hardcore. So we have, I guess what we're trying to do is at the beginning of every beat, we have a drum, and then at the third one, yeah, we have that, and we're basically copying that over, and we can play it real quick. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself again so I can hear the music without the echo. So actually that doesn't sound right to me. I'm going to go ahead and move them over by one. No, that doesn't sound right either. Nope. So that's when I kind of give up on it. Usually it's really easy to put together a quick beat because it's like part of the, or like a somewhat of a kick, and get into a good place to build up something more, mainly because of the fact that like beats usually follow like a very rhythmic progression. You don't have to play on the keys, right? Like you know, you can put it at the beginning of every, you know, half beat, right? Like I think one of these is a bar. No, is that a bar? One bar? Yeah. So bar. Okay, that's what it's called. So you can actually put it at the beginning of every bar, and you know you'll be pretty good with that. And then, you know, if you want to do a little bit more variety, and so I just kind of keep building on it from that point on. You know, I think that we do need a little bit of something else. It feels like there's not enough energy in it. So let's see. And I always like to have like a irregularity on about the third beat. Again, I'm like not a master at this, so I just kind of throw things together. We're gonna go ahead and get some of the snares. I like this short one, and then we have this like longer one. Wait, which one is the shorter one? Yeah, so I decent beat, nothing too crazy. Usually then at that point, when I get to that, I try to find some kind of an instrument that I could start with. Yeah, sure, whatever. And that... Yeah, so I usually let the beat play and then just practice to it. So this is when it starts sounding all horrible, and I kind of figure out what I'm trying to do. Looks like I'm trying to do this actually. Let's go ahead and make them quarter. Let's see how this sounds real quick. Alright, and it sounds like I want to do the same thing down here, but at a lower key. What key was this? G2. Alright, so let's go ahead and copy it over. G2. Yeah. Alright, that's starting to sound like something. Then let's just copy it over. Let's see if we can bring it up the key and it sounds still okay. At this point I kind of get lost as to what I should be doing with it, so I'm going to go ahead and just double this, make this, let's make this 8, and we're going to go ahead and copy over. And so what that allows me to usually do is basically mess around with it, because I have a longer lead, longer sound to mess with. So maybe I can, I feel like I'm good with this main progression. I'm going to go ahead and do this, a little bit more obvious, going up, and then we're going to drop down to G2 and finish off a little bit above. I don't like that. I really like the way it sounds when it's you're switching out the lower and higher. So maybe if we end it like this. Okay, so maybe we can change a few things up here, change the progression a little bit. Let's go ahead and move over the keys around a little bit. Let's see how this sounds. I kind of wanted to gain a little bit of speed at the end, so we're gonna do a little bit of this. Let's see how this sounds. I like the way this sounds. This is actually kind of nice. And then I wonder if we can copy this over, right? Put it down to G2 again, but this time put 2 notes per, and make it a little bit faster, so to speak. There has to be that break. There has to be that break. Alright, and then we can put it back up to A2. I don't think we've used A2. Let's see. Let's see how this sounds. Sounds a little bit better. Let's see if we can take these down a bit so that it follows that, and maybe we can actually bringing it up a couple keys. Yeah, so this would be interesting. Yeah, so I think that's pretty basically like what I kind of do. I like to usually write, I guess make these little beats and whatever. Usually something simple like this for the drum rack, for like the drums, and then some kind of melody that I then mess around with and speed up at the end. It doesn't always work for me, and at that point I try to go into using some of the effects. I've noticed in a lot of videos online and a lot of, I guess, Ableton tutorials or producers talking about their music, that they have something simple that they start out with, like this one, and then they just mess around with it. Unfortunately, I'm not super familiar with every single one of these things, and I've taken tutorials on this stuff. It's just like, I don't remember exactly all of it. I remember like one thing was, you mess around with the equalizer so that you don't have like, so that you have like a little bit of a better progression, so that it's a little bit more, you cut it off at the most important parts. So you tried to isolate the sound using the equalizer, and then you would normally have like I guess a bass line. I guess this is called a lead and a bass line. Dude, I am not like good at knowing this kind of stuff, the terminology. What we can do maybe is mirror the structure here, and let's do this. And we're going to create the second instrument that is going to look similar, like it's going to have similar progression, but we're going to make it at a much lower key. So we should be able to do this, and yeah, even leave some of that variety there. And then this one, we'll leave that variety there as well. And then we'll do this last one, which is a little bit different. And we don't need to actually do anything too crazy there. Let me zoom out. Let's put it at a lower key. We have it starting at B2. Let's do B1. Let's see how this sounds. Sounds good, but it sounds like it's too much of the same, and what we actually need to do at this point here, I think, is bring up the bass. Hopefully I'm doing this right. I don't know, man. It's gonna look interesting. Yeah, now you can kind of hear the cutout more than anything else. Yep, like that. I am not doing this right. I know I'm not. And we'll add reverb on that. I always see artists using reverb. I'm sorry that my camera's a little bit over it. Can I collapse this somehow? I can't. All right, yeah. So yeah, I usually see artists doing a lot of that, a lot of, messing around with the compressors, which actually this might be a good idea here. And it'll also let me scoot it over so you can see the reverb. Let's see how this works with the compressor. I'm going to mute myself for a second and mess around with this for a minute. All right, I think that's it for today. But that's kind of what I do in my evenings sometimes. I put together something simple like that. My main goal really has been just to enjoy this process, to learn more about the different effects, to understand the software better. I realized there were like Ableton 10, and there's probably going to be Ableton 11 coming out soon. But the more I understand the software, the more I enjoy it, the more I mess around with it, the more I understand it, the better, I guess, sounds I can make. I remember a few years back, like whenever you read tutorials online and about like starting music, they're like, oh, just like mess around. It doesn't, like when you're messing around with something you don't understand, it doesn't help me. I don't necessarily need to understand everything about Ableton, but once I learned how, these things, the MIDI tracks work, why I need to have separate ones, and more importantly, how this view over here works, which is super confusing for a beginner, it helps a lot. And then some of the other basics are like, how does a drum rack work? Why would you even want that? Why do you have these like, empty instruments that open? Like all of this is so confusing. And then how you apply those effects, and some of understanding how some of the basic effects work is really important, I think. Like understanding how a compressor or a glue compressor works, mainly because it's like when you can't get what you're looking for out of your music, the compressor it can help a lot. Understanding an equalizer and being able to set it up. So like these basics have really helped me, and you can see I'm not a genius at this, but I like the sound. Like if I was gonna make a crappy podcast or something, I can make my own intro. But anyway, so that's kind of it for this vlog. I like using these vlogs as a way to document things that I was interested in the past. I'm kind of sad that I didn't have the webcam for quite a while, because having the webcam is kind of awesome. I get to see what I looked like through the times, and I have regretted a lot of my hairstyle decisions over the years, and I'm glad that I have documentation that I can go look back to. I feel like this hair is not too bad. It's a little bit messy today. I don't know. I'm gonna go bald probably. But anyway, I hope you subscribe or like my vlog, and hopefully you'll watch or listen to some more of my stuff.